like to take a moment and thank our sponsor. If you have a laser device for training and you want to take it to the next level, or if you're looking to get into using a laser device for training, check out the products at laserapp.com. LASRAPP.com. You can use code CSP2021 for 15% off the items you've selected. And thanks for checking them out. Welcome to this week's edition of the Casual Shooters Podcast. This week you have me, Dave, maybe Chris. He keeps going in and out. He's a ghost. And we have a guest co-host. This week we have Casey. Everybody welcome Casey.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on, Dave.
He has that spectacular radio voice. I couldn't pass it up. Casey's on this week because we're talking about hydration. And like Chris and me, he is a paramedic. I actually work with Casey. He's actually my supervisor, but we're not going to hold that against him. We're talking about hydration. Number one, it's the hottest time of the season. Since our audience is primarily shooters, everybody should know that this weekend was Area 8, and it was 96 degrees on Friday when I was shooting. So by 9:30 in the morning, I had 3 other people underneath my umbrella with me. So you've got kids out playing, you've got people working their yards, people hiking, camping, playing sports, all of that, and the weather's just sucking the fluid and the electrolytes right out of you. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a huge fan of Gatorade or Powerade because of all the sugar in them. But I mean, what else is there? Well, I just happened to run across a drink called Hoist. I'll use air quotes, a sports drink, but it's touted as IV level fluid. Claims to be 100%, 110% more effective at hydration than water. And I think what people don't understand is water can actually kill you. There's actually something called water toxicity. If you drink too much, creates an electrolyte imbalance and it can actually kill you. So I was really interested in this drink Hoist. I've been looking into it a lot. I've actually contacted the company, and our guest this week is actually from the company of Hoist. So what I'd like to do is introduce our guest, Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Of course.
Thanks for coming under the gauntlet.
I hope I can hang with you guys.
I'm sure you will.
So go ahead and take a moment and introduce yourself.
I am Rachel. I work for Hoist, technically Director of Business Development. But we're a very, very small company with, I think, 10 full-time employees. So we have to wear lots and lots of hats. So marketing, social media, events, grassroots, customer service, pretty much anything, you name it, I handle. I've been at Hoist for 9 years. So just about as long as the company's been around.
I actually noticed that on LinkedIn that you've been there for, looks like since the inception, darn near.
Almost since the beginning, about a year, less than a year from the beginning. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rachel, we usually ask a few personal questions to begin with.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that you've not listened to any of our podcasts before.
I briefly listened to one when you reached out to see who the hell you were.
Okay. Okay. We're not hard to find. We're on all of them.
I agree too.
But I did go through and watch them all. So.
All right. So we ask a few questions at the beginning to get to know our guest.
Okay.
One of the things that we tout is that we're not just about talking to people. We get to know them as well. Okay. So with that, question number 1, your favorite movie.
Oh, gosh. I haven't watched it from like start to beginning, and I don't know, since before I had kids. I can't even remember.
It could be a kid's movie too.
We'll just go with the last one I watched, which was Shrek, because I can't even remember what my favorite movie is, because it's all about kids now. So
that is actually a good movie.
Yeah, so it is.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's one that we have found. It's just some anecdotal evidence, but women tend to read more than men, according to our interviews. Favorite book?
That's probably worse than a movie. The last time I read a book. This is terrible. Can we edit this out?
Oh no, you're on the record.
Maybe I should have watched all the introductions. Oh, I don't know. I have to go
Okay.
back.
All right. Well, this one hopefully will be a little easier. This is the Huggy special. Your favorite superhero.
Ooh. Spider-Man or Captain America?
Okay.
All right.
Not too shabby.
That one I can answer fine.
See, my questions are easy.
Yeah. All right.
Well, here's one for you. You're gonna have to go back in the time machine for this one.
Okay.
Because again, LinkedIn kind of helped me with this question. I noticed that you are a graduate. You're a Bearcat alumni.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was your favorite experience at the University of Cincinnati? It could be a class. It could be a sporting event. It could be anything. It could be graduation.
Oh, I don't know. I just love the overall campus feel. It's a big campus, but it feels really small. I met all my best friends there. Let's see. That's what brought me to Cincinnati. So I grew up in Columbus, and then I moved to Cincinnati to go to UC. And I still live in Cincinnati, so I haven't left, which tells you how much I loved it there for school. My favorite, I don't know. I lived in a house with 5 people, 3 guys and 2 girls, and we lived together for 3 years, and it was just like nonstop party, but it was a lot of fun, and we're still all very close friends. So
wait a minute. 3 women, 3 guys. Sounds like an episode of Friends.
it was a lot of fun.
There you go.
It was a lot of fun, yeah. So, and we all had different groups of friends, and we brought everybody together, and yeah, we're still all friends to this day. So that was the best part about it. And then I just got to meet a lot of other people. I learned a lot of awesome stuff. Started out in nursing, switched to dietetics. So the nutrition part of Hoist is what brought me to Hoist. So a lot of things led me to where I am today. So thankful to be a Bearcat.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So for the audience, what is Hoist?
Hoist, simply enough, is IV level hydration. So the formulation of Hoist matches the density of your bloodstream almost to the T. So when you drink it, it's absorbed into your bloodstream immediately versus sports drinks or just plain water, which actually delay the hydration process, which can dehydrate you before they hydrate you. So do you want me to go back and tell the story of how Hoist came to be? Because that kind of helps understand what the product is.
And that is actually question number 2, which is what's the history behind Hoist? So absolutely.
Okay, cool. So about 10 years ago is when Hoist was founded, and there's 4 guys that are the founders of Hoist. One of their friends out of college was drafted into the NFL, and he played for several teams. Each team that he went and played for, that he told his buddies, our founders, that they drank they drank Pedialyte on the sidelines, put it in the big orange coolers on the sidelines, said, yeah, this is actually what we drink. And when we go out on the weekends or when we go out and party, we drink a Pedialyte because it makes us feel better. Hydrates us better than, the Gatorades, the Powerades, the sports drinks of the world. Well, we all know that now because the marketing that's been done to support that. But 10 years ago, that was like, hold on a second, what? The baby drink? You guys are drinking the baby drink to hydrate? A bunch of grown-ass football players? This is
out of a sippy cup.
Out of a sippy cup.
Or Peter Pops.
Yeah. So the guys being straight out of college and drinking probably more than they should have been, especially since they now have day jobs and are still going out during the week, they're like, all right, let me give this a try, and discovered that it really does work well for hangover, but it didn't taste good. So years and years later, they decided to throw some money together, took a Pedialyte to a beverage scientist and said, make this taste more like a sports drink. And here we are today. So we took it to a sports nutritionist who makes custom isotonic powders. He created an isotonic powder formulation and put some flavor to it. And that is what Hoist is today. So we started off with one flavor. It was in a can, looked like a Red Bull. It was marketed as the last drink of the night, straight to bars, in coolers in the bars. They were mixing it with booze, which probably wasn't smart because it's isotonic, so it absorbs directly into the bloodstream. So you're mixing it with liquor, and then all of a sudden, bad idea. Or good idea, I guess, depending on your goal.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, right. And it was doing wonderfully. And then along the way, which is kind of when I found my way in, people were reaching out directly to the company saying, I love this stuff. I'm not using it for hydration for a hangover. I'm using it to train for my Ironman. I'm using it because I'm an EMT. I'm using it because this formulation really works, but I can't put a can on my bike. I can't put a can in my gym bag. It's not portable. It's not good to take on the road with me. So that's when I was brought into Hoist, and we decided to put it in a plastic bottle for portability. We added some flavors, and now we have 5 flavors. And the formulation stayed the exact same. I think we actually took a little bit of sugar out.
I don't know which way to lean, sorry.
I know. I'm
Little plug there.
There's no dyes or artificial sweeteners or anything, just all natural electrolytes and cane sugar. So that's where it's kind of evolved, and that's where it came from. Still works great for a hangover, but we realized that other people needed a better for you hydration drink that that hasn't really evolved much. The sports drink market hasn't really evolved much. There's tons and tons of new sports drinks that come out, but they're all pretty much the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Hoist has stayed consistent over the years and just keeping our formulation the same, but we've been able to, the stories of the people who are using our product is crazy, from like young kids to chemo patients to elderly adults who can't stay hydrated because they're on all kinds of medications. Obviously athletes, and most recently in the last couple of years, the military.
That's awesome. If I may interject for a second,
Yep.
Since you touched on Pedialyte, one of the things that's kind of an appeal for my family. So we're vegan. I'm mostly vegan in the house, but I'll eat cheese. That's my guilty pleasure from time to time. But Pedialyte has milk derivatives in it, so we don't give it to our kids. So on your guys' end, it might be a good marketing tool as well, because it's great for us. It doesn't have a lot of sugar for our kids. It doesn't make them crazy, and it tastes okay. I mean, I've only had a few of them, so I mean, it's really good. I really like the taste a lot. It is very refreshing, as opposed to like how Dave and I talked the other day, where you drink some Gatorade or whichever else, and you almost feel like you have to keep drinking more because it almost makes you more thirsty. So.
Exactly.
Well, and that's what I wanted to say. The sample that I had, or the first one I had that I drank, I noticed went down. It was very smooth. It was, I can't really explain it, but it was unlike any drink I had before like that. And it was like what Casey's saying, like you could drink one after the next, but you don't feel the slosh and the heaviness.
Yep.
It's very good.
Yep.
But I need to clarify. Casey claims to be vegan, but he did put chicken in his mouth one day. So it was in a sandwich, but
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a mistake.
whatever.
Up later.
Whatever.
It was not pretty.
Oh man.
I was the benefactor of that chicken. So
He did. He helped. Well, he also helped my hair back too. He was very supportive.
So, all right. So I would like to get into what exactly makes it. You guys claim that it's 110% better than water.
Yep.
What is it that makes it so good for hydration?
So we just had a study. It will be published here. I think we're working on the journal, or our clinician is working on the journal that he's going to publish too. But he did a study out of UNC Greensboro and studied athletes, however many athletes were taking part over hours 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the study, and measured the urine output and compared it directly to water. So over the course of hours 1, 2, 3, and 4, Hoist actually retained the athletes that drank the Hoist retained more fluid than the rest of the athletes when they were just drinking water. So a lot of people would think, oh, I don't want to retain fluid. Nobody wants to retain all this fluid. But actually, you do want to retain the fluid. And you guys know
Unless
that
you're old.
as professionals, you know that especially at hour 4, you want to retain as much fluid as you can and electrolytes as you can instead of being completely depleted. So that's where the 110% comes from. And that's over time, which is amazing because, when you're out in the field and you don't have to be drinking all the time, you know that you can drink a Hoist and 4 hours later, you're still going to be hydrated. You're still going to feel like you can perform to your best ability.
Now, is there a limit to the number of Hoists you can drink in a day?
Everybody always asks that. I think it really just truly depends on your activity level. I think it depends on how much you sweat, how much you retain. Everybody's different. So I always say start with 1, maybe 2. If you're out, like this weekend, you said you guys were out and it was 95 degrees. If you start with 1 and you bring in your hydration levels back to normal, and then throughout the day you deplete, then drink another one. And you can maintain it with water. It's not saying that Hoist is better than water, so you shouldn't ever drink water again because that's just silly. But drink a Hoist, bring your body back up to its optimal hydration level, and then maintain with water as long as you can.
I will say I found a limit for my oldest. After going to the bathroom about the 6th time in 10 minutes, we figured out the top. So
they were hydrated, yes.
Yeah, she was sneaking into the cooler, which good for her staying hydrated. I'm happy for her, but
yeah,
it was trying.
Yeah. Okay, I think you're good.
Yeah.
Well, and
it's something that you can feel better about your kids drinking because it's not full of junk. It's just electrolytes and cane sugar.
Right.
Gluten-free, no artificial dyes or sweeteners or anything.
Yeah, it seems like for the most part, it's mostly natural ingredients that are in there, which is another plus being our dietary choices here at the house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I do ask that question because of the electrolytes in there. I didn't know if there was a way to drink so much Hoist that you have too much sodium, potassium, mag, or calcium on board.
I think you can. I'm not an EMT, so or a physician, so I don't know. I think that depends on the person again. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it's smart to drink more than you should. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's 430 milligrams of Hoist in one bottle. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
sodium?
2 to 3 times more than, did I say sodium?
No,
You
you
said
said
hoist.
hoist.
Oh,
Same difference. It's okay.
Hoist in a bottle of sodium in a bottle. So, and a good amount of potassium, 260 milligrams. So you don't have to drink as much of it as you would drink other sports drinks because you're getting that in one bottle.
I do like
That's
that
awesome.
though, especially the potassium for muscle function
Yes.
and cramping.
Yep.
So because it's funny, you see all these athletes who get cramps when they're out playing sports, but they're supposedly drinking sports drinks. So
I almost feel like Gatorade would dehydrate you with the amount of sugar that's inside of it.
Right.
And it's almost just a cyclical thing.
And Rachel, so you know, Huggy actually played NFL Europe.
Really? Okay. Did they put, what did they, I don't know if I should ask that because I don't want to get in trouble.
Well,
But did they put the sports
I'll
drinks
say this.
colors or what?
Well, back then, Gatorade was the big thing. So that was what
We're
we
1930s.
drank, which is- yeah. So that's all we drank was just pretty much Gatorade, and cutting it wasn't even a big thing back then, So you just pretty much, they add water to the powdered Gatorade and you drank it, that was it. So, but I actually look forward to trying this myself because, as we were saying earlier, this past weekend was so humid. I mean, I actually was at a shooting competition yesterday, being Sunday, and it was so humid that I was constantly drinking water, and I could feel it sitting in my stomach, and it was so uncomfortable, that I didn't want to drink any more water because it was making me feel bloated, and trying to run a course and feeling bloated and sloshing, you're just like, oh, this is not the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah.
So I do look forward for the opportunity to try this and see how it feels and everything, because this sounds like a very wonderful drink to try out. I mean, because I'm also working out in the yard and everything. So when you working out in the yard, maybe I'll grab a Hoist instead of a beer.
Yeah. You could save that for after.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the reason that when you're drinking the water and you don't have any electrolytes, if your body is already sweating out the electrolytes, you need those electrolytes in your body. If you're just drinking water, the electrolytes are what pull it into your bloodstream in order to hydrate you. So if you're just drinking water, you're flushing all the electrolytes out of your body, and you're actually doing your body a disservice, which people don't really understand. So
Correct. Yep. You're absolutely right. And trust me, at one point I took a little break to use the restroom, and as I'm using the restroom, I shouldn't say I hate to, but I was like analyzing my urine output as it's going down. I'm like, it's looking a little dark there.
Yeah. Need a hoist.
I want to ask how you were analyzing it.
I didn't have a little cup to kind of put the peel strip in.
Oh.
I mean, I was out there Friday for five and a half hours, something like that. I had one hoist, and the rest were caffeinated beverages, and I had zero issue the entire time. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, on my end with I'll tell my backstory since everybody's given a little bit too. So kind of two different stories here, but we went out with the family the other day for about 4 hours, which probably wasn't the best decision, seeing how it was like 100 and some degrees outside, and we have two little ones. But we were out and about, playing out in the yard, and the wife actually woke up with a real bad headache. But we wanted to do something with the kids because we've been cooped up inside. She had a real bad headache, and usually when she gets bad headaches, she'll take about 800 or 1,000 ibuprofen, and it still sometimes just barely takes the edge off. I think I bought maybe 1 or 25 hoists, and we actually literally about 25. I'm not trying to better. We pulled up a cooler with them because we were curious, since it was going to be so hot. We just wanted to see how it was going to go through the day. And so being outside, I sweat profusely. I hate to say it, but I drank probably a good 10 of these things. I didn't even go to the bathroom once, just to let you know how badly I was sweating. And I didn't get a headache at all. And usually when I'm out and it's that hot and I'm sweating that profusely, if I drink Gatorade or whatever else, I almost instantly get a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Not to hate on Gatorade, but I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised at how well this seemed to have hydrated. Granted, this is the only time that I've used it. I'm not getting paid for this promotion, but it was very surprising and very pleasant. Like I said, my oldest was all about just chugging the stuff, and usually it's kind of like pulling teeth to stay hydrated with water and everything else. And then going back to my wife's headache, her headache completely went away, which was shocking. Like I said, I usually get real bad headaches when I'm out that much in the heat, and she started off the day with a real bad headache, and it seemed to magically go away with this stuff, and it was pretty awesome. So I'm sold on it. It's, to be all fair, I'm sold on it for right now. I don't know, I might experience something else different later, but I highly doubt it, because this stuff it's really great. It tastes great. We love all the flavors. We got all of them. We tried. I think out of all of them, my wife's favorite was the watermelon, because it tastes like Jolly Ranchers.
Yep.
And peach mango was mine, and then my oldest liked the what was it, the green one? Yeah, the watermelon. She liked the watermelon just because it was green. So. But they're very good. They're very good.
Yeah. Good. I have always had migraines, and if I can catch a migraine before it comes on, when you start to get the spotty vision and all of that, you're like, oh no, here it comes, down for the count. But if I drink a Hoist, and I swear to you, everybody that works at Hoist has their reasoning for drinking it, has their own story for drinking it. I swear mine helps with headaches, like exactly like your wife. If you wake up, you've already got one coming on, drink a Hoist, and then it puts me back. So.
That's awesome. And she's also she's vitamin deficient, so she'll take B12, and she used to get a real bad headache, or B12 or B6, or she takes both of them. She found out, like, if she's taking an overabundance of it and she's not having enough magnesium, that'll also cause the headaches. And then I think with drinking more of these more often, helping to keep some sort of a balance with the electrolytes in her system, I think it's going to be, this will probably be a long-term investment on the old subscription service of the company that starts with an A and M, ends in Amazon. Amazon? No, I totally botched that joke, but you know what I'm trying to say here.
I'm not going to tell you what that sounded like.
Maybe I should get another one of these right now.
I'm like, man, you're stealing my thunder. I'm always usually the one that's messing up on this show.
I'm usually that guy, so it's all right. I'm used to it. I have no shame.
So Rachel, we'll tag team.
Is this the guy who just did the study, or is it a different guy?
No, he just did the study, Dr. Adams, and they wrapped up the research in the fall. Of course, they had a lot of issues at the school, and they had to shut down the lab for a while because of COVID and because they were testing student athletes. So they had to shut it down for a little while. So of course it took longer than it was supposed to, but they're in the process of wrapping up all of the research and analysis and submitting to whichever journal they chose. I can't remember if they were going to go more toward athletic training or like dietetics and nutrition. So.
Okay. And what activities were they having them do?
I think they were running on a treadmill.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Because it was in their sports lab.
I assume you guys will get a copy of the information.
Yep.
Is there any way I could get a link to the?
I can send you the research. Sure.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Since it's not published yet, I just have the documents of the findings. But once that's published, I can send you the link. But right now, I can send you the.
Is his nickname Patch by chance?
Uh,
I'll
No.
take that as a no.
no. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe his friends call him that.
I was going to say, does he put like a little red nose on?
I think so. Maybe in his spare time. Not when I talk to him.
We all have our weakness.
Exactly.
Right.
So Rachel, if I may ask, is this how many kids do you have? Is this your first pregnancy?
This is number 3.
Number 3, good for you. Well, congrats on the third.
Third and final.
Third and final for now, right?
We'll
Now
see.
you're outnumbered. Now you're outnumbered.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have a question then. With your other 2 pregnancies, again, if you don't mind me asking, did you suffer from hyperemesis or anything like that? Did you have any difficulties during your pregnancies?
Oh gosh, with all 3, I was really sick up until about 20 weeks. Couldn't keep anything down. I lived off of Hoist and fruit.
Did that seem to help? I mean, I know you're working for Hoist, but we won't tell them if you say anything negative.
I think it helped. I was still getting sick, so it wasn't like it was keeping me from getting sick. But at least I could feel like maybe I was keeping some electrolytes in my body, but it was pretty miserable, not going to lie. And then when we were on vacation and went to Florida, I was getting terrible leg cramps at night. And I had shipped a case down to the house we were staying at, but it was delayed. And so it didn't get there until about halfway through the week. And there was nowhere down there for me to buy it. So all I was drinking was water. And I was up, leg cramps all night long. And then it finally got there, I think on like the Wednesday of like the middle of the week. And I chugged one. It was sitting on the doorstep. It was like, I don't know, so hot. It was like coffee, but I chugged it and I didn't have a leg cramp like the rest of the time that we were down there. It's
wow, that's awesome.
Like when you have had a product like Hoist and when you're used to it, when you go without having it, you're like, wow, I really need a Hoist right now. Sounds like I'm just trying to sell it because I work for Hoist, but it's true. And I would never really be in sales or marketing, I don't think, if it weren't for a product like Hoist. So, because that's not my background. I'm not here to sell it. It sells itself, to be honest. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I would say. And it's kind of funny you kind of bring it up again. Sorry, Dave, if you don't mind me asking. What I was kind of curious when you said you had a nursing background and then you got into dietitian. What made you what sparked your interest to want to go that route instead of staying the course of nursing?
Well, I only did 1 year of nursing school, so I didn't go all the way through. I'm not a nurse. But I liked the sports side of it. I always wanted to do sports nutrition. And then became a personal trainer after college. So I was doing like CrossFit training and personal training. I liked being able to help people understand that what they eat and what they drink and what they put in their bodies is going to affect their overall health. I still love nursing. I still love like the medical field and, all the crazy stories and things, but you're almost treating people when they already are sick versus being able to help them stay healthy with what they can eat and drink before they get to that level, if at all it can be helped. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
and here I am working for business development, not doing really, not helping people one-on-one, but in a way still helping people choose a better option that's going to help them. So, yep.
All right. So for those that are going to see this on YouTube, I've got another screen I'm sharing. So this is talking about the military and the DOD stuff,
Yep.
but it also shows the level of electrolytes in the drink and stuff of that nature. Now, Mike, the one thing I did notice was you guys added stevia.
Yep.
Why? Yeah.
Since we have less sugar than most other sports drinks or hydration drinks, there's a really good amount of electrolytes and sodium in there that if we didn't sweeten with anything else, that it would taste like pool water. So we actually tried to do an unflavored hoist to see if we could just have the isotonic solution without any flavoring. And it was like drinking like the ocean. So without adding, I don't know, 20 more grams of sugar, and then you'd be hypertonic just like all the other sports drinks. We chose to just have the amount of sugar needed and carbohydrate needed for that isotonic solution, and then supplement with stevia for the taste.
We've used that. Well, you've used it. I've not, but Hypotonic a couple of times now. Can you, and Isotonic, can you, I know the other two know, but for the audience, can you explain the difference between a hypotonic solution and an isotonic solution?
Since you're on the website, if you go to What's Hoist, or maybe
coming. There
right
you go,
there.
Right there.
There you go. So there's 3 different types of beverages. You've got hypertonic, which is high osmolality. You've got hypotonic, which is low osmolality. And then you have the isotonic, which is that perfect balance, that ideal osmolality. And osmolality is just a fancy term for density. So the high osmolality or the hypertonic drinks are your typical sports drinks, coconut water. They're actually too dense for your body to break down, too much carbohydrate, too many electrolytes. So when you drink it, it sits in your gut. It has to be digested just like food. So that slows down the hydration process, makes you feel that sluggishness in your stomach, that weighted down feeling that everybody in the whole world has experienced when they drink something too fast when they're dehydrated. And it can also lead to muscle cramping. So then you have your low osmolality, which is like plain water, or your 0-calorie sports drinks. They don't have enough carbohydrate. They don't have enough electrolytes. So when you drink it, it sits in your gut, and your body actually has to take its stored carbs, stored energy, stored electrolytes, pull it into your gut, and then it can be pulled out to your bloodstream and hydrate you. So both of those solutions slow down the hydration process. Eventually they might hydrate you, just not as quickly. And then you have your ideal osmolality, which is isotonic, and iso means balance. So the perfectly balanced blend of carbohydrates, electrolytes, and fluid to be absorbed directly into your bloodstream, because the density matches the density of your bloodstream. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to sum it up, what she said was, it's basically just a matter of creating the correct balance. If what you're drinking isn't correct, then your body has to correct the balance before it can be absorbed in.
Yep.
And with Hoist, because it's isotonic and it has the correct balance, it can just be absorbed without any type of fluid or electrolyte shift within the body to balance it all out.
Yep. And I think, Chris, when you mentioned, that you guys were drinking the sports drinks before, like cutting it was even known, you just drink it straight up. But when people are talking about cutting a sports drink, so you're mixing it, if it's a powder or whatever solution, and you're mixing it up, and then you have to cut it with water, you're taking hypertonic and making it hypotonic. And then some people are even saying, and then I added sea salt. And I'm like, well, you just made your own isotonic solution. So there you go. You don't have to do any of that. This is what you're going to drink. Oh, and it actually tastes good. So I think people are understanding that there's the need for better hydration, but they don't really understand what products are out there or how to do that. Unless they're just playing around with it and trying to figure out what works best for their body. But pretty cool.
I will have to say, excuse me for interjecting, being someone who, I used to work out. I mean, I still kind of little workout, but not like I used to all the time. But I used to drink all kinds of different sports drinks, trying to find that edge, what's going to help me, what's going to push me and get that, that extra push. And it got to the point where you just get tired, you get done with it. And you're just like going, okay, that's it. I'm tired of drinking this one. I'm tired of going to this one. I can't find this one anymore because the store took it out or whatever the case may be, and all this stuff. So it's going to be nice to actually try this, to to see, to drink it and feel it, because I'm telling you, after this weekend, being out there in the humidity that I was in, I could have used something like that, because again, I got to that point where I didn't really want to drink much more because of my stomach. I could feel it starting to cramp because I'm drinking just nothing but water, you know. And I just was like, gosh, if I could have had this, I think I would have felt much better. I probably pushed myself a little bit harder and probably scored better.
It's all your fault, Rachel.
Dave should have shared,
Yeah. So
not in my
and I mean,
personality.
we actually, the problem is that we kind of live a distance apart from each other, and we had to like schedule times to actually try to cross paths. So we're gonna work that out. I'm gonna try to get some from Dave and try it out. And
I'll send you some. We'll hook you up. You gotta try it out. And then you get the weekend.
Just send it the same address you sent it before. He'll get it.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
that works. Yeah, for sure.
I actually, hold on a second now.
Oh, see, you got him going to go get it now.
It's out in the garage. It's out in the garage. Actually, one of the boxes that the samples were sent in, his stuff is in. I just have to get it to him. He lives almost 2 hours away from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a drive, but I do have his stuff set aside. Leo has his. Leo has drank his, and he was quite happy with all of them. Now, have you guys noticed any flavor that's liked more than another based on sales, or?
Oh yeah. They fluctuate. Peach mango is our newest flavor. It's been out for about a year. That one's picking up. Strawberry lemonade is always our number one.
Oh wow. Okay.
Strawberry lemonade is always number one in retail and online sales. I would say peach mango probably second. What else? Dragon fruit is usually the least liked. It's my personal favorite.
My least liked.
But it's gaining speed too. They're all good. I think it just depends on, like, the dragon fruit is like more tart than sweet, and then the strawberry lemonade is more tart than sweet. The others are a little bit sweeter. So it just depends on your palate, but there's a flavor for everybody. So that's what the good thing is.
Well, you sent orange, and orange is typically my least favorite of any type of flavored drink.
Yes.
So that's what I drank first. And I drank it and I was like, this is actually good. So they did something right, because this is good.
Orange, and you don't like orange, then you'll like all the rest of them. Was that your tactic?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, everybody, I think in our office, everybody's favorite is orange. The original flavors, what did we start with? Dragon fruit was the first flavor we came out with. And then strawberry lemonade and orange. And then we've done watermelon and peach mango.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical about the dragon fruit because I had never had real dragon fruit before, and I bought it. I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. I'm gonna try it out. It's probably the most disgusting fruit I've ever had in my life. It has like no taste. So.
Yeah. But our flavor is good.
Yes, it is very good. Yeah, I like it actually.
So how did you guys get into the DoD and military stuff?
So let's see, probably 4 years ago, because it was a long process. We decided to go through the process of becoming DoD approved because of the research and what we know about our military consuming sports drinks and consuming Pedialyte, especially. So we're like, okay, well, we know that we're a better product. We know that we have better flavor. And so we actually went through the process to become DOD approved. That took about 2 years. And now we are in over 90% of all Army installations globally for field feeding and operational rations. So anywhere where we have deployed Army, we have their drinking Hoist. We took over the West Point. I think I can say that. We took over the West Point contract, hopefully, because I just said it. So they've been drinking Hoist for the last 2 years, and go Army, by the way. So they've been drinking Hoist, and I think by the end of the year, all of the military academies will be hydrating with Hoist. So that's super exciting for us. And we've hired on a director of military sales. He's a retired CW5, and his responsibility is going from base to base to sell in Hoist and make sure that all of our military, every single branch, is approved for operational rations and field feeding, getting the bottles and the powder wherever it's necessary. So, yeah.
So what? So I know you guys are already getting big contracts. It sounds like with the military and other things. What's your guys' future plans with this, with marketing it? Because if you guys have been around for 9 years, I mean, I never would have heard about it if Dave hadn't brought it up. And
You're welcome.
Product. Yes. So
that's because we're still privately funded and we're not the big, we don't have the big marketing dollars of the other sports drink giants. So it's been a long process. I think our DOD approval and everything we do to back our military and to support it, which we've always done, it just wasn't officially, part of the DOD, but we've always given back to, military events and things like that, just not officially. So since we've been approved, so over the last 2 years, it was kind of a natural marketing. We could tell that our audience was shifting. We could tell it was going from the better for you, healthier hydration audience to, okay, I need this product because, I'm going to be going on a 13-mile ruck. I'm going to be, carrying all my gear. I'm going to be out in the field for however many hours. I need a product that's going to work for me and I need it now. So I think that with having Hoist hydrating all of the active duty military, and then obviously when they get out and they're veterans and they've been exposed to Hoist, I think that helps build our audience. And I think that helps with our credibility. So, here's our product. This is why it's better. This is the science behind it. Oh, and if it's good enough for the military, it's good enough for me, kind of feel for everybody else out there.
Sure. Yeah. Word of mouth, powerful advertising.
Yeah, exactly.
I liken it to oral lactated ringers. Really, that's what it reminds me of from a fluid standpoint. Now, are you guys piggybacking on what Casey was just saying?
Yep.
Are you guys
for marketing wise? You mean?
Now, you're a Bearcat alumni. You're still in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys trying to hit up the universities and colleges and stuff?
So we have several universities and professional sports programs that are buying Hoist, and they're utilizing it in their training rooms, but you'll likely never see a bottle on the sidelines or on the field because of the large contracts. We have some sports programs here locally that I can't say, but they've been drinking Hoist for years and have noticed we have a lot of high school teams too, which the high schools you can talk about, but they're paid the big bucks from the big sports drink giants. So you have to have the coolers on the sidelines. But a lot of times that is Hoist here locally, which is amazing. And we can talk to their sports nutrition teams and their athletic trainers saying, yeah, our fourth quarter crampers are, always out halftime or third quarter because they're cramping and we can't get them to go back in. But over the last several years, they've been drinking Hoist and they haven't had any issues. So, yep. Same with baseball.
Perfect halftime beverage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wish I had that when I was playing.
You and me both.
I know. I was always a runner, cross country, track, soccer, and I had to limit my water because I only would drink water. I didn't really like sports drinks. And I always say, if only I had Hoist, I wonder what the difference would be if I had Hoist, because I didn't really like anything else. I would just have my typical water and then I'd cut myself off, which probably wasn't good for me, but I didn't want it sloshing around in my stomach while I was running. So
yeah.
If we could go back.
I will have to say that even from my experience, fourth quarter comes and like you set the cramp sets in and you're just like, okay, the trainer will come out there, stretch you out, you get out the field for a player to get stretched out and you're like, okay, it's gone, it's good. And then you go right back out there. The next play, it's like bang, right back in there. And you're like, oh, in this one, it's even tighter. And you're like, okay, yeah, done.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can drink the fluids then, but now from what we know with the hypertonic and hypotonic, that it's going to delay it. So you're not going to actually be hydrated until after the game, which doesn't really do any good, right?
Which is why the players would go to the locker room, get an IV, and come back out and be ready to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm curious, have you guys ever had any real world studies where you check the time on, like, so if somebody cramps and then they start drinking Hoist, like how long it takes for them to actually start feeling the effects of it?
If I had all the clinical research money in the whole world, I would love that. I would love to be able to time like other beverages versus Hoist. Love, or like how much Hoist you really need. Is it a 16-ounce bottle? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it half? But yeah, the timing of how fast it does kick in, because we just say immediate hydration, but is that 1 minute? Is that 30 minutes? I don't know what that timing is. We just know that it's faster than the hypertonic and hypotonic drink.
Those other people.
The others.
I was wondering also, like, the competition that they hold over in Hawaii, the Ironman competitions, I think like something like that. I would love to see Hoist even there. I bet you Hoist would probably do wonders in those competitions because those athletes, they're going for miles, and working all parts of their body.
3 or 4 miles. That's just the swim, by the way.
So,
and triathletes and Ironman athletes, they're looking for something better. They're likely not drinking your average everyday sports drinks. They're probably drinking something custom based on, panels of their sweat that they've had tested and all of that. Another one that's really popular right now are the obstacle course races.
Yes.
So that and like the tactical games that are using Hoist, those types of outdoor events that are more than just like your 5K, 10K kind of thing. But yeah.
Good thing you weren't there this weekend for me, because if you wanted to do a sweat panel, you definitely have like a couple gallons full of jugs full of sweat. I'm telling you, these are just pouring out. Sorry, did that offend?
That's a lot of sweat.
Yeah, that just got awkward.
You'll have to go back. It's not going to stop you from sweating. You'll still be sweating.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying the sweat panel, when they test trying to figure out exactly like you said, the balance that an athlete would need. I'm telling you, I needed a hell of a balance.
And it just dawned on me too. I mean, I always hear people like I'll listen to other podcasts about shooting, and they'll talk about getting hydrated and starting, you know, like a day early. Well, when I was in the military, we started a week early.
Yep.
Because we weren't doing a 1-day thing. We were doing at a minimum a week-long deal. So we'd start a week out and make sure that we were completely hydrated. But it just dawned on me that Thursday evening I drank a Hoist to prepare for Friday, to not just the fluid, but to get make sure my body had enough electrolytes to be prepared for Friday. And I do believe that had an effect. Now I do want to share this screen. I noticed that you, in your 2.5 gallon pouch, you have fruit punch, but not in the bottles, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Is there any plan? I'm not a big fruit punch fan, but I noticed that difference. So I was wondering if there was any plan to put that into a bottle.
There's always a plan. So we have the powders are what's used for the operational rations and field feeding. So those flavors were requested by the military because people are used to the grape and used to the fruit punch and kind of the standard hydration or electrolyte flavors. I think that most popular ones for our powder are the grape and the fruit punch, and then we already have the peach mango in our bottle and the orange. So those will maybe be in the RTD, the ready to drink bottle, but we don't have any plans for it right now. But we have a pipeline of new flavors, and that might be one of them.
Okay. Now you were saying that you vacationed in Florida and couldn't purchase it down there.
I couldn't. No. Well, there's Fresh Market, but it was further away, so I couldn't go to Fresh Market. We are in Publix in Georgia and hoping that if that test goes well, then they'll put us in Publix in the rest of the state of Florida. So retail is a hard and expensive game when you're the little guy. So going in the sports drink aisle. So that would be the plan, yes, but we're not national yet for retail distribution.
I think you got the right path though with going with the high schools though. You can get the high schools involved. A lot of times, especially if you get them, it's almost word of mouth, and then like you said, that athlete goes to the next level. It just spreads, and next thing you know, high schools go to the next level, collegiate, and then so forth and so on, and it just spreads from there. So
yep. And if parents, if a high schooler is drinking something on the sideline that their strength and conditioning coach or that their coach or that their athletic trainer is telling them to drink and they're seeing a difference, mom and dad are going to go to the store and buy it. They're going to find a way to get it. So we've actually noticed that helps in retail. If we have a school that's nearby where we have a Kroger store or an H-E-B or something like that, then, the sales increase because we've just opened our audience and our brand awareness up to however many kids in that school. So.
Right. And, it's just also the trainers, the athletic trainers, they sit there and say, hey, when you all are in here lifting, before you lift, this is your pre-drink workout, after drink, so forth. That really does help, promoting and pushing, marketing the product. So,
and I will say it's important for us. And of course we want to build our brand wherever we can to help with the retail sales and all of that. But also where we're trying to define our audience and build what Hoist is, every single sports drink is athletic focused. So, everybody chooses LeBron James as their spokesperson or this professional athlete or this professional athlete. and I don't know this 100%, but it's likely that they're not drinking that drink. They're probably drinking something different, something better, something more evolved. And so Hoist, and especially now that we have our DoD affiliation, we're trying to go after the real life athletes.
Yeah.
So, you know, our firefighters, our paramedics, our all military service. Exactly. All military service, but like the tier 1 athletes that need this product every single day in their life, because if you're not hydrated and you're out, you can't take care of other people. You can't do your job because you're dehydrated. So, you know, your professional athletes, you know, cool. They can go in the locker room and get an IV if they want to at halftime. The everyday person can't do that. So that's what Hoist is for. And that's what we're trying to stand for and be behind, because the amount of athletes that reach out that, you know, now that college players can have endorsements, it's like, you know, that's tempting, but no thanks. That's not our strategy. That's not where we are. We're Hoist is for the real life person, not for the professional athlete. So we'll leave Body Armor and Gatorade and Powerade and Coke for them, and we'll take everybody else.
Yeah, honestly, we just sent a guy home last shift of work because he had a bad migraine. He'd been out on previous shift for 4 hours straight for a call, and then he was out about doing lawn work and stuff the next day on his day off, and he got a bad migraine midday and couldn't shake it. So
yeah, it's not safe.
Right. I like what you said, that your tier 1 athletes. I look at like DoD, public safety officers being firefighters, paramedics, police officers. I actually say those are your tier 1 athletes, because they're on the job all the time. Being a former athlete, you know, I only played a certain amount of time, then I'm off the field, and then, you know, I had all this downtime, or even little workout, had off seasons and stuff like that. Where the 3 of us, including Leo, makes 4. We're, you know, and other public safety officers, we're never have really a downtime. We're always constantly, you know, either at work or, you know, doing something. We don't have that downtime. So I thank you for that, you know, and I look forward to trying it out, because man, everybody else has had it and they're loving it, and I'm like, I'm really missing out on something good here.
Yeah, and I'm hyping it up over here, and so are they, and you're just sitting there, you know, missing out.
Yeah, I'm sitting there.
You're not missing anything. We'll take it all for you.
I'm sitting there drinking this clear stuff. I'm like, it ain't working.
Well,
that's what happens when you refuse to communicate for 3 weeks.
Hoist is clear too, so you know
it is.
You can Hoist in a water bottle.
Right, right. But no, the guys are right. I was gone for a month. I've been in Fire Marshal Academy school training, and I will even tell you from there, we had to, on one of the days, it was hot as all get out, and one of the scenarios is they burn out a room, and we have to go in there and investigate it. Hot as all get out. All right, so here we are, and you know, just like, you know, uniform and everything like that, and we've got to take furniture out, reposition things, put everything out together, sweating like there's no tomorrow. And it's like, you know, it could be 2 or it could be 3 of you just doing this. It's tiring. It was, but now hearing this, I'm like, man, I wish we had Hoist there now.
Well, that's why I'm trying to get it in the county. So
yeah, I hope we do.
And again, I mean, we're not sponsored. This is not paid for by Hoist or anything. No. Rachel was very kind to send us some samples. But I do want to point out that on their website, there is a place you can go and find Hoist. There's a tab at the top, and you can click it in there, or click on there and add in whatever your address, your zip code. I just use a zip code, and it popped up with the closest one to my house. So, and I found out there's a place right across the street from our fire station where we work that has it as well. So if I need to get some in a pinch, I can always go there. Yeah. So
I must say the food line here is sold out. So if you guys can kindly just send some more that way.
Okay. I'll get right on that.
They need a restock.
Send me the location.
Yeah, well, I'm out in the country, so we're gonna have to send like pigeon or something.
Hot air
We'll
balloon.
stock up a horse cart for you.
Maybe they'll have drones just dropping it off in front of you.
There you go.
I don't know. If somebody sees a drone flying out here, it might get something might
shoot it.
happen.
Shot
Yeah.
down.
They'll shoot it down. Yeah.
Yeah. They're thinking it's a UFO and it's finally the coming.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got. Chris, Lee, or Casey, you guys have anything?
The only thing I was just kind of curious about, and I don't think you mentioned it or not already, but where did you guys come up with the name? Or is there a story behind it? Or just
That was it. Well, it came about from the hangover days, but that was done with a lot of market research. And, these are I don't know how many names they started with, but what was the most memorable name? And I think it came about because Hoist helped hoist you out of bed, helped you feel better. So it still stands true, but hoists you up and gets you back to feeling yourself.
there you go. There's, for all you college kids out there watching this, it's perfect for you.
Yeah. Oh,
You hear
Yes.
that,
that's
Christian
another one. I
Tyler?
wish I had it in college because I'm gonna tell you right there. There's been many a times I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Better sports athlete, better grades, mom and dad.
Yeah.
There you go, Gianni and the Williams sisters. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Exactly.
Well, Rachel, is there any final comment or anything you'd like to expand or comment on?
I don't think so. Are we going to give your audience any promo code or anything to get a discount? Or
You tell me.
yeah, we can do that. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Love that.
Listening
Absolutely.
can try it out.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll get you hooked up on that. We'll figure that out.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being on. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you for everything you guys are doing out there.
Of course. Let us know if there's any way we can help. We always have like event sponsorships. We'll send product for those hot events, Chris, where you need hoists on hand when you're out all weekend long. We don't have a huge marketing budget to write checks, but we can send a lot of hoists down. So we'll get product in the hands of the people who need it most.
All right. Sounds good. I'm there and I can't wait to try it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Rachel, for coming on. We
you,
greatly
guys.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, and hope everything goes well. And
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Awesome.
all right, sounds good.
All right.
Take care.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
Rachel. Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.